The 1 Year Bible, the Living Bible paraphrased, August 31st. Job, chapter 37, verse 1 to chapter 39, verse 30. My heart trembles at this. Listen, listen to the thunder of his voice. It rolls across the heavens, and his lightning flashes out in every direction. Afterwards comes the roaring of the thunder, the tremendous voice of his majesty. His voice is glorious in the thunder. We cannot comprehend the greatness of his power. For he directs the snow, the showers, the storm to fall upon the earth. Man's work stops at such a time, so that all men everywhere may recognize his power. The wild animals hide in the rocks or in their dens. From the south comes the rain, from the north the cold. God blows upon the rivers, and even the wildest torrents freeze. He loads the clouds with moisture, and they send forth his lightning. The lightning bolts are directed by his hand and do whatever he commands throughout the earth. He sends the storms as punishment or in his loving kindness to encourage. Listen, O Job, stop and consider the wonderful miracles of God. Do you know how God controls all nature and causes the lightning to flash forth from the clouds? Do you understand the balancing of the clouds with wonderful perfection and skill? Do you know why you become warm when the south wind is blowing and everything is still? Can you spread out the gigantic mirror of the skies as he does? You who think you know so much, teach the rest of us how we should approach God, for we are too dull to know. With your wisdom, would we then dare to approach him? Well, does a man wish to be swallowed alive? For as we cannot look at the sun for its brightness when the winds have cleared away the clouds, neither can we gaze at the terrible majesty of God, breaking forth upon us from heaven, clothed in dazzling splendor. We cannot imagine the power of the Almighty, and yet he is so just and merciful that he does not destroy us. No wonder men everywhere fear him, for he is not impressed by the world's wisest men. Then the Lord answered Job from the whirlwind, Why are you using your ignorance to deny my providence? Now get ready to fight, for I am going to demand some answers from you, and you must reply. Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me, if you know so much. Do you know how its dimensions were determined, and who did the surveying? What supports its foundations, and who laid its cornerstone, as the morning stars sang together, and all the angels shouted for joy? Who declared the boundaries? Who decreed the boundaries of the seas when they gushed from the depths? Who clothed them with clouds and thick darkness? Who barred them by limiting their shores, and said, Thus far and no farther shall you come, and here shall your proud waves stop? Have you ever once commanded the morning to appear, and caused the dawn to rise in the east? Have you ever told the daylight to spread to the ends of the earth, to end the night's wickedness? Have you ever robbed? Have you ever robbed the dawn? And have you ever robed? Have you ever robed the dawn in red, and disturbed the haunts of wicked men, and stopped the arm raised to strike? Have you explored the springs from which the seas come, or walked in the sources of their depths? Has the location of the gates of death been revealed to you? Do you realize the extent of the earth? Tell me about it if you know. Where does the light come from, and how do you get there? Or tell me about the darkness. Where does it come from? Can you find its boundaries or go to its source? But of course you know all this, for you were born before it was all created. and you are so very experienced. Have you visited the treasuries of the snow or seen where the hail is made and stored? For I have reserved it for the time when I will need it in war. Where is the path to the distribution point of light? Where is the home of the east wind? Who dug the valleys for the torrents of rain? Who laid out the path for the lightning, causing the rain to fall upon the barren deserts, so that the parched and barren ground is satisfied with water, and tender grass springs up? Has the rain a father? Where does dew come from? Who is the mother of the ice and frost? For the water changes and turns to ice as hard as rock. Can you hold back the stars? Can you restrain Orion or Pleiades? Can you ensure the proper sequence of the seasons, or guide the constellation of the Bear with her satellites across the heavens? Do you know the laws of the universe and how the heavens influence the earth? Can you shout to the clouds and make it rain? Can you make lightning appear and cause it to strike as you direct it? Who gives intuition and instinct? Who is wise enough to number all the clouds? Who can till who can tilt the water jars of heaven when everything is dust and clods? Can you stalk prey like a lioness to satisfy the young lions' appetites as they lie in their dens or lie in wait in the jungle? Who provides for the ravens when their young cry out to God as they try to struggle up from their nest in hunger? Do you know how mountain goats give birth? Have you ever seen them giving birth to their young? Do you know how many months of pregnancy they have before they bow themselves to give birth to their young and carry their burden no longer? Their young grow up in the open field, then leave their parents and return to them no more. Who makes the wild donkeys wild? I have placed them in the wilderness and given them salt plains to live in, for they hate the noise of the city and want no drivers shouting at them. The mountain ranges are their pasture land. There they search for the blade of grass. Will the wild ox be your happy servant? Will he stay behind your feeding crib? Can you use a wild ox to plow with? Will he pull the harrow for you? Because he is so strong, will you trust him? Will you let him decide where to work? Can you send him out to bring in the grain from the threshing floor? The ostrich flaps her wings grandly but has no true motherly love. She lays her eggs on top of the earth to warm them in the dust. She forgets that someone may step on them and crush them, or the wild animals destroy them. She ignores her young as though they weren't her own, and is unconcerned though they die, for God has deprived her of wisdom. But whenever she jumps up to run, she passes the swiftest horse with its rider. Have you given the horse strength or clothed his neck with a quivering mane? Have you made him able to leap forward like a locust? His majestic snorting is something to hear. He paws the earth and rejoices in his strength. But when he goes to war, he is unafraid and does not run away, though the arrows rattle against him, or the flashing spear and javelin. Fiercely he paws the ground and rushes forward into battle when the trumpet blows. At the sound of the bugle he shouts, "Aha!" He smells the battle when far away. He rejoices at the shouts of battle and the roar of the captain's commands. Do you know how a hawk soars and spreads her wings to the south? Is it at your command that the eagles rise high upon the cliffs to make her nest? She lives upon the cliffs, making her home in the mountain fortress. From there she spies her prey from a very great distance. Her nestlings gulp down blood, for she goes wherever the slain are. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verses 13 through chapter 5 verse 10. We boldly say that we believe, trusting God to care for us, just as the psalm writer did when he said, I believe and therefore I speak. We know that the same God who brought the Lord Jesus back from death will also bring us back to life again with Jesus and present us to him along with you. These sufferings of ours are for your benefit, and the more of you who are won to Christ, the more there are to thank him for his great kindness, and the more the Lord is glorified. That is why we never give up. Though our bodies are dying, our inner strength in the Lord is growing every day. These troubles and sufferings of ours are, after all, quite small and won't last very long. Yet this sort of time of distress will result in God's richest blessing upon us forever and ever. So we do not look at what we can see right now, the troubles all around us, but we look forward to the joys in heaven which we have not yet seen. The troubles will soon be over, but the joys to come will last forever. For we know that when this tent we live in is now taken down, when we die and leave these bodies, we will have wonderful new bodies in heaven, homes that will be ours forevermore, made for us by God himself, and not by human hands. How weary we grow of our present bodies. That is why we look forward eagerly to the day when we shall have heavenly bodies that we shall put on like new clothes. For we shall not be merely spirits without bodies. These earthly bodies make us groan and sigh, but we wouldn't like to think of dying and having no bodies at all. We want to slip into our new bodies so that these dying bodies will, as it were, be swallowed up by everlasting life. This is what God has prepared for us, and as a guarantee, he has given us his Holy Spirit. Now we look forward with confidence to our heavenly bodies, realizing that every moment we spend in these earthly bodies is time spent away from our eternal home in heaven with Jesus. We know these things are true by believing, not by seeing, and we are not afraid but are quite content to die, for then we will be at home with the Lord. So our aim is to please him always in everything we do, whether we are here in this body or away from this body, and with him in heaven. For we must all stand before Christ to be judged and have our lives laid bare before him. Each of us will receive whatever he deserves for the good or bad things he has done in his earthly body. Psalm 44 verses 8 through 26. My constant boast is God. I can never thank you enough. And yet for a time, O Lord, you have tossed us aside in dishonor, and have not helped us in our battles. You have actually fought against us and defeated us before our foes. Our enemies have invaded our land and pillaged the countryside. You have treated us like sheep in a slaughter pen and scattered us among the nations. You sold us for a pittance. You valued us at nothing at all. The neighboring nations mock and laugh at us because of all the evil you have sent. You have made the word Jew a byword of contempt and shame among the nations, disliked by all. I am constantly despised, mocked, taunted, and cursed by my vengeful enemies. And all this has happened, Lord, despite our loyalty to you. We have not violated your covenant. Our hearts have not deserted you. We have not left your path by a single step. If we had, we could understand your punishing us, in the barren wilderness and sending us into darkness and death. If we had turned away from worshiping our God and were worshiping idols, would God not know it? Yes, he knows the secrets of every heart. But that is not our case, for we are facing death threats constantly because of serving you. We are like sheep awaiting slaughter. Waken, rouse yourself. Don't sleep, O Lord. Are we cast off forever? Why do you look the other way? Why do you ignore our sorrows and oppression? We lie face downward in the dust. Rise up, O Lord, and come and help us. Save us by your constant love. Proverbs chapter 22, verse 13. The lazy man is full of excuses. I can't go to work, he says. If I go outside, I might meet a lion in the street and be killed.